All right. All right. So long as you can see me clearly, hear me clearly, everything good. All right, man. I see you three King Detail. I see you, man. All right, bro. So listen, man. Here's what we need to understand. Now, we're going to cover a few elephants in the room, right? Just a couple of elephants. The topic is Dr. Umar tells men to focus on pleasing the woman. BOA explains how to do just that, but like a P. You understand me? There's a way to please your woman without jumping off the porch like these guys do. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to cover some things today that might hurt some feelings if you're in your feelings. If not, it should make you look at yourself and ask yourself why you do some of the things you do. And, you ain't going to hear this nowhere else. So I appreciate y'all being here today in the one place you can hear it. Three King Detail, salute to you, man. Appreciate you being in the joint. TZ Frank, I see you, man. All right. So listen, man, you want to be a part of this live chat, you know what you got to do, man. You got to go to the main channel page. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see a join button. Click that join button. Come on back in here, man, because, the guys got their eyes on the prize, and they be wanting their privacy to themselves, man. This is a very prestigious chat to be in, man, because you get to really, really spit your game in here if you're a part of this live chat. You understand me? No suckers in here. This is the one place you're going to come on their platform and ain't going to never be no suckers in the chat. You understand me? No suckers. We ain't got time for the suckers. All right, so listen. We got 6 elephants to cover. 6 elephants to cover before we dive into this topic. And I'm going to tell you how I please my woman like a P. Now, if you pay her to stay, this don't work for you. You have a bill that you've taken on. She views you as the bag. She's only with you because you provide the bag. You don't have this kind of power in that situation. If you pay her to stay, you're already too far on the side of pleasing her in every way possible. You understand? You give her the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountains. You give her the world. You already do that. If you're over there, this don't apply to you. You got to get out of that relationship and try to apply this next time. You can't recover to this level. The second elephant, if you wifed up a freako, you can't do this with her either, because she's simply chasing the feelings that she's had before. Like if you wifed up a woman who's already done everything for the first time, you can't do this with her because she's too busy chasing the feelings she's already had. She's too busy trying to relive something. So she's already trying to imagine you being somebody else doing something to her. This ain't gonna work for you either. I know some of y'all done wifed them up, but you stuck. This don't work for you. You already caught up with a woman who's so caught up in her past feelings, her past pleasures, that nothing you can do to her is going to be able to affect her in a way where you have this kind of control. The third elephant, you don't talk sex, you do sex. That's why when women say, all y'all think about is sex, that's all y'all think about. It's because that's all y'all talk about. A woman don't care if you think about it, if you do something about it. Y'all talk about it too much. And if you got to talk about it, it's because the woman you with, y'all don't do it enough. If you talk about it all the time, you ain't doing it enough. Because if you're doing it enough, you ain't talking about it, you just do it. You understand me? So that's another thing. If that's the relationship you have set up, this don't work for you because you're already with a woman who isn't aroused by you. Not to this level. Now, elephant number 4. If you pay to play, this don't work for you. It's a business arrangement. Like if you have a full-fledged business arrangement, don't even try to turn it into this. If you pay to play, then just play. Just play and just don't worry about her. Just play. If you pay her, you can't focus on a woman's pleasure if you pay her too. If you pay her and please her, you don't need her. She's worthless. Number 5, if she didn't like you to begin with, you understand? If it was Travis Hunter type action where the woman didn't like you to begin with, you'll never be able to do these things because these things take full access to a woman who love your dirty draws. Like you can only do this if your woman is like, if she was into you from day one. Like if you could have cut her the first day. You understand? If she was that type of woman, you could have had her the first day. But she fought it because she didn't want you to view her like that. But if you had pressed the issue, she would have given in. but you ain't even want to. You respected the fact that she wanted to hold out and not be viewed that way. Because the reality is, it don't matter who you are. If you do it, I'm gonna view it. Yeah, I'm gonna view you that way. So if you press the issue, then I'm gonna go ahead and go along with it. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But if you fighting against it and you don't want to do it, a woman tell me one time, I don't want you to view me this way, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna help her save herself. Now, am I gonna leave her hot and bothered? We'll talk about that later. Elephant number 6, and this one is gonna touch some of you guys. If you have a small Peter and you're self-conscious about it, think about it now. If you have a small Peter, and then you can do it, that's some things you can do about it if you want to, but if you have a small Peter and you're self-conscious about it, you're not going to be able to do this because you got a small Peter, you got to cross some other lines in order to be able to peel this off. You got to cross some lines that a man that's, that doesn't have a small Peter doesn't have to cross. You know what I'm saying? Now, he may cross them, but he crosses them by choice. You got to cross them by force. But it's cool. If you want to have this type of control in your situation, in your intimate relationship with your woman, then don't worry about it. Do what you got to do. Don't look at it and say, oh, because I have a small Peter, I got to do this. Because there are some guys who ain't got a small Peter, they're going to do that and more. You do what you want to do, but be open to the fact that you're going to have to compromise and you're going to have to compensate for any shortcomings you might have. That's life, though. You know what I'm saying? You got to compensate for some shortcomings. Muggsy Bogues, he was 5'3", but he was in the NBA, had a productive career too. You understand? But you know why he did? Because he compensated. He was quick, fast, faster than everybody. So let's get into it. Now, Mello, I see you in the building, man. Stanley, I see you, man. Appreciate you joining the family. Mr. J in the building. Mello on deck. Three King Detail jumped in the family. Salute to you, man. Black suit in the building. Abel, I see you. All right, let's get ready to do this, man. Now, the first thing that has to happen. Now, we've covered all that. The woman like you when you meet her. You might be able to eventually do this if you cold approach a woman. You probably won't, because you've already made her the prize. You've already made her the thing that needs to be conquered, the thing that's valued. But you have to only do this with a woman who showed you attraction confirmation. If the woman didn't like you in the beginning, if she ain't let you know she like you, and you had to jump through hoops and do all of that, man, you had to step and fetch and kowtow, and you got put in a friend zone, or you had to text with the woman for 2 months, or you ain't see her for this long, and when you saw her, it was always in a public place, and all that stuff goes out the window if a woman wants you. And let me tell you something. A woman only shows you attraction confirmation if she want to get it in with you. When a woman shows you she likes you, it's because something about you made her tingle in the middle. You understand? Made her tingle in the middle, made that booty do a wiggle. So that's it. Now let's get into it. Now, there's a process that I call all-day foreplay. All-day foreplay. Now, let's cover something. Foreplay doesn't have to lead to sex. It doesn't have to lead to it. But all-day foreplay creates an environment where whenever you want to hit, you can. Because all-day foreplay creates that. Now, what's an example of all-day foreplay? My good morning to my woman is always physical. It's never a passing thing. It's always touching, caressing, kissing on her neck, licking on her ear, kissing her on her cheek, kissing her on her lips. It's always something. It's always me caressing her, always me rubbing her, always me doing something that I know gets her slightly aroused. So every good morning is always going to have her slightly aroused. So first thing in the morning, she's going to start off slightly aroused already, because that's how I'm going to start it off. Everything is going to be that way. Now, you can't do this if you some dude that like to fuss and fight and argue with your broad all the time. You always in your feelings and y'all always got a problem with some. This don't work for you. This is for masculine men, okay? You got to be masculine. So good mornings are always physical, always. There is never a time where a good morning isn't physical. Now, I'm talking about men who have women around them. I'm not talking about a man who, you got a woman, you barely see her. Now, that's not a woman. That's a little fling. I'm not talking about that. This is grown men content. You understand? So the good morning is always physical. Man, it could be anything. It could literally be anything, but it always has to be physical. You know your woman's spots. And you may not have to do all that touching and rubbing. It could just be simply kissing on her neck. Maybe her neck is that spot. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the back of her neck is that spot. Maybe the side of her neck is that spot. Maybe her nose is that spot. Maybe her ear is that spot. You never know. Maybe the small of her back is that spot. You never know what that spot is. This your woman. If you want to kiss on the small of the back, hey man, listen. If you want to pop one out, man, and give a lick across the nip, whatever you want to do. You want to lick a nipple or something, you go ahead and do it. This your woman. You do what you want to do to her. She loves it. She wants you to touch her. She enjoys being touched by you. So you just make sure it's physical, because the thing that makes a woman, that keeps a woman aroused all the time, is feeling desired. You understand? As long as she feels desire in the most subtle ways, not with your words, with your actions. Understand that, with your actions. Words don't mean anything to a woman. I'm telling you, they don't. They mean it. They mean something when you say them, but they don't last. That's why a woman always want to hear, I love you, 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 I love you. She want to hear those words because those words don't last. But everything you do, those actions, you got to make those actions count. Now, after my good morning is always physical, you might say, well, what about the good night, doc? Oh, boy, that's the time right there. The good night is the time, ain't it, doc? That's when you get, nope, the good night is always spiritual. That's how you keep the spiritual connection with the woman. If you don't have a spiritual connection with the woman, you're not gonna be able to do any of these things. Like, you got to be touching that woman in her soul. Now, how do you do that? First of all, the woman has to be willing to follow your lead spiritually. If you got a woman, if you're a man that lives one way, like if you Nation of Islam and your woman is Christian, you ain't gonna be able to do this. Y'all ain't even on the same accord spiritually. The spiritual connection with a woman is how you accomplish everything you need to accomplish. So for me, that's a requirement. That's a prerequisite. You have to be willing to follow my spiritual lead. If you already have your spiritual direction, then you go lead yourself. You know, we're not going to be able to do anything. But I'm talking about the woman that you have in your life. Hopefully you've covered this. So good night is always spiritual. And you know what it is? Even that spiritual time is touching. You understand? I don't pray with her. I pray over her. Superiority is what a woman responds to. And so if I can touch her and make her weak, if I can touch her and arouse her, if I can touch her and make her want to get it in, if I can touch her and make her lose focus, that's superiority. I'm controlling her in that way. And if I'm praying over her, she submits herself to being prayed over. Because you know what? Most men never pray over their woman. And when I'm praying over her, I'm touching her while I'm praying over her, but not in a sexual way. I'm touching her. I may be holding her hands. I may be rubbing her hands. I may be rubbing her arms. You know, I may be caressing her neck. I may just have my hand right there, just lightly caressing her neck like that while I'm praying over her. We may be down on our knees, and I may be praying to her just with our foreheads together like this, just forehead to forehead, and I'm holding her hands. And while I'm holding her hands, I'm caressing. I got her palm in my palm, and I'm caressing the back of her hand. There's an erogenous zone on the back of a woman's wrist. I'm caressing that zone with my thumb. I'm just chilling. I'm doing my thing. Well, my woman may not be on, it's maybe something wrong with your woman, but on my woman, that I know there's an erogenous zone. So everything doesn't apply to every woman. Some of these things you got to figure it out about your woman, but the gist of this is going to work on every woman. All right. So good night is always spiritual. Always remind your woman that you're connected to God. Always remind her that you're spiritually superior to her. Now it has to show in your life as well. But always do that. Good morning is always physical. Good night is always spiritual. And once we're in bed, once she's in the bed with me, something's going to happen almost every night. So when you hear people saying, man, 3-4 times a week, they don't be making it up. They just got the woman that connects with them that way. And honestly, if the energy connection is right between two people, you really got to schedule it as a man. Me, I'm not going to do 4 times a week. That's too much. You know what I'm saying? That's too much. That's the majority of the week. I'm not going to allow a woman to get that entrenched in her physicality the majority of the days of the week. So maybe 2-3 times. You know what I'm saying? 2-3 times a week is perfect. But the possibility, some's always going to go down. So every night, you don't have to go all the way. You don't have to, you don't have to have intercourse with your woman every night. But man, you can caress her. You can do simple things, man. Simple things like she in the bed with panties and bra on, man. Sometimes I just pull her panties off. She ready to go. But the entire night, her panties off. I probably still got on my boxer briefs, but her panties off. And that is erogenous in itself. So that allows me to be able to touch her. That allows me to be able to, even when she's tucked under me, and she tucked under me in a spooning way, then, if she tucked up under me like that, my wood gonna stand. My wood stand, she feel it behind her. All night, she's aroused like that, but we don't always have to get it in. But whenever I want to get it in, She's going to be open to it. All this is leading to one point. Y'all just bear with me. We're going to run down this list, and then we're going to get to the point of what all of this does. All of this does an amazing thing that allows you to please your woman with the absolute easiest effort. Like, you ain't even got to put forth no effort, except these things I'm telling you to do. And these things are fun. Like, if you have a woman and these things aren't fun to you, you got the wrong woman. Now, the next thing, the touchy-feely. This represents the touchy-feely technique. Everything is a physical opportunity. Everything is a physical opportunity. I want you to remember, there's a spiritual connection, mental connection, emotional connection you must have with your woman. But you got to remember, sex is physical. If you take care of all of those other areas, you don't have to include them in the physical. Now, you have to try to include those in the physical if you don't take care of them. All of those things don't mix together. The spiritual connection is different from everything else. The mental connection is different from everything else. The emotional connection is different from everything else. The physical connection is different from everything else. People can have a spiritual connection without a physical connection. People can have a physical connection without a mental connection. People can have an emotional connection without any of those other connections. You got to remember, all of those are taken care of separately. So you really got to like the woman you're with. Like, you really have to have a woman that you like. You know what I mean? You have to. So I want y'all to understand that. But everything is just an opportunity to get physical. When my woman asks me, baby, how I look in this dress? It's never just, baby, you look good. I said, come here, baby, let me check you out. Come over here, let me see how you look in it. So I'm rubbing her body, caressing her body, seeing how it feels. She got on a little dress. I may take the dress like at her hips and then just slide it up her body like this. And that's automatically going to put her it's going to arouse her a little bit, because anytime she knows that anytime it may be time for us. So she don't know where I'm going to get it in at. But when I do this right here, I'm just seeing how it fits her dress. So I may get it all the way up to where the dress is right at her butt cheek. And then I just pull the dress back down, and I rub her, I turn her around. I may rub down her stomach. I may rub straight down her stomach, go all the way down, man, over her pubes, down her thighs. I'm going to touch her the whole way. And then, of course, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to turn her around, pull her to me from behind, and then I'm gonna reach behind her, and then I'm gonna play with her nips while I'm there. Why am I gonna do that? Because everything is an intimate opportunity. And you know what my word is gonna be to let her know she looks good in that dress? I'm gonna say, all right. I'm gonna tell you like this. I know you got somewhere to be, but you better go take that thing off before I take it off for you. Everything is an opportunity for her to feel and understand that she's there with me. Because if I was a sucker, I wouldn't be able to keep my hands off of her. That's the thing. She needs to know that you're the type of man that's in control of your libido. But if you weren't, you got to remind her all the time. It could always happen. There's no better way. Stop telling your woman everything and show her everything. I never answer a woman question like that with words. It's always actions. And then when you do actions, you're allowed to say something sexual. Your woman you always think about sex because you don't create an intimate environment with her. You don't create a sensual environment with her. You don't create an environment of arousal with her. You don't create a fantasy world with her. If you create that fantasy world with your woman, you can always talk about sex because you always make her feel sexual. It ain't really hard, brothers. But you got to have a woman that likes you and you like her at the same time. It doesn't work if you don't do that. So that's an example. Y'all can use that if you want to, man. It works. It works for everybody, no matter who your woman is. If you use that technique to make her feel sexy, man, it's the touchy-feely technique. I'm always touchy-feely with my bra. So when you see guys in public, they don't want their woman up on them. Man, you see my woman in public with me, man, she all up under me. All up under me. You see us at a restaurant, I can't make her sit on it. If I make her sit on the other side of the booth, man, she think I'm punishing her. It's punishment to her to sit on the other side of the booth from me. And somebody may say, man, I'm talking about the woman that you got in your life. If you ain't got no woman in your life that you like that, man, this ain't for you. You still out there playing game like a little boy. I'm talking about for men who got a woman in their life. You understand what I'm saying? And bro, she on the side of the table with me, man, you never know. We on the side of the table? My hand is always on her thigh. She's always tucked up under me. How high my hand go up her thigh, that just depends on me. You understand what I'm saying? So we may be sitting in there, my hands on her thigh. You wonder why she got her face on my shoulder right there, kissing me on my neck and kissing me on my cheek and all that. It's because I'm rubbing her thigh. And here's the thing. She's my woman. I know how high to go up her thigh. You don't got to go all the way up and do nothing freaky in the restaurant. You can, but I would suggest you go to the bathroom. That's what I would do. That's what I do. You know how high to go up her thigh. where when you start to feel, I'm gonna give y'all a tip right here. With most women, if you rub your hand up her thigh, up her inner thigh, by the time your ring finger feels the heat from her hot pocket, that's far enough for her to be aroused by the touch. Just remember that. Not your pinky now, your ring finger. You're sliding up her thigh. Look, you're sliding up her thigh. By the time you feel the heat on that finger, your ring finger, you're close enough where it should be arousing her a little bit. Like, you don't want her to be so aroused that you got to take her somewhere and knock her off. Y'all at a restaurant eating, man. And if you like me, if you at a restaurant with a woman, she got on a dress or a skirt. You ain't gonna see me out eating no fine dining with no woman, man, and she ain't dressed like a lady. She gonna be dressed like a lady every time. She gonna have on a dress or a skirt. Period. And what that give me? Easy access. Now, I'll tell you this too, man. I want y'all to think about this. If you make her believe she's sexy to you all the time, she'll work her ass off to make sure she stays sexy for you. Guys, we talk about when they get married, man, their wife stop wearing sexy stuff and all that. That's because you let her stop feeling sexy. Like, it's work, man. It's work. So you got to really have a woman you like, but you got to remind her that she's sexy to you all the time. Subtle things. You got to know your woman. So guys, man, when she walk by, man, just smack her on the butt. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Some women don't like that. So if your woman don't like that, don't be like, man, she don't like me to smack her on the butt. Well, when she walk by, don't smack her on the butt. Take your time. Say, hey, come here, baby girl. Take your time. Rub your hand down the small of her back. And then when you get to her butt, give it a squeeze. The touch is the touch. The pain of the smack is what she may not like. But she gonna like the touch. Just give it a squeeze. Give both sides a squeeze. You understand? Give both sides a squeeze. So just always take the opportunity to make the physical physical. If you're taking care of the spiritual, mental, emotional, financial even, if you're taking care of everything else, man, enjoy the physical. The physical is for you. I want you to remember that as a man. The physical is for you. Remember that. We're going to get down here and we're going to bring the physical being for you. We're going to bring it home. Now, you may say, well, man, man, I tell her she's sexy and all that. I said, don't tell her, show her. And if she ain't sexy, don't lie about it. But if she ain't sexy, you chose her. That's why you got to stay on top of it. You got to be honest. You got to be honest with your woman. If she's starting to gain a few pounds, listen, tell her that she's gaining a few pounds, or do this. You ain't got to tell her. If your woman gained a few pounds, she's starting to get a little pudge on the middle, just keep doing the same thing you were doing, but just stop at that little pudge and squeeze it. You know what I'm saying? What she gonna know. You ain't got to tell her. You stop at that little pudge and squeeze it. Every time you start stopping at that little pudge and squeeze it, you know what she gonna say? He didn't used to do that. I ain't used to have this. And she gonna get to work. You gonna watch your woman get to work without speaking. If you speak, you're liable to hurt her feelings. You understand? And you got to be concerned about your woman's feelings if you got a woman. Period. If you got a woman and you ain't concerned about her feeling, you crazy. You creating drama in your own situation. So you got to be concerned about her feelings. So you got to know how to deal with a woman in a way where you can tell her what you want to tell her without saying it in a way that's going to hurt her feelings. Words hurt women's feelings. You know what I'm saying? You can show her something and you just stop there. It's there. You just stop and give it a little squeeze. Don't spend too much time. Don't squeeze it and say, all right, girl, you gained a few pounds, ain't you? You're getting fat on me. No, you ain't got to do it like that. Just stop and squeeze it. She'll know what you're doing. Now, here's another thing. And this requires you to have D-control. You got to have D-control to do this one. But if you got enough D-control to do it, whoo, boy. This is a life hack, brothers. Only have sex with her when she's absolutely aroused. Only when she's absolutely aroused. Don't worry about it. Don't do it because you aroused. When you get her absolutely aroused, that's when you do it. So even when you want to, when you know you want to be intimate with your woman today, you know it. You wake up and you're like, okay, cool. That's why I tell you, do those little things in bed. Take her panties off of her. Take her bra off of her. Even if you don't take them off, just put a hand in them. Put your hand in there. Plenty of time, man. I've been sleep, man, with a spoon position with my woman, man. I just got my hand in her panties all night. I don't never take them out. You know what I'm saying? I don't never take them out the whole night, my hand in her panties. And so every now and then, I use my hand while I'm in there. You know what I mean? Every now and then, I move my hand around a little bit, move my fingers around while I'm in there. But you use that time Because anytime in the middle of the night, I want y'all to put a one in the chat if you done woke up in the middle of the night. And woke up in the middle of the night, and for no reason at all, just because she's right there beside you, just because she was in there beside you, dong. That happens all the time. And so you just use these opportunities to always have her on the edge of arousal. Always have her feeling aroused a little bit. Always having her feeling sexy a little bit. Always have her feeling sensual a little bit. For me, understand the music that puts your woman in the mood. Always have that shit playing. Always have it playing. And it ain't got to be the music she likes, because most time women don't listen to music that put them in the mood. Women listen to music that put them in a fantasy world. You know the music that put her in the mood. You know. I ain't never met a woman nowhere, no age, no color, no creed, that did get in the mood for Eyes the Brother Between the Sheets. That's just one of the songs. Take the pentagram, turn off the lights. Some of the young girl don't even know them songs. But they get the message of it because those songs have a masculine energy to it. Eyes the Brother have a song called Let's Make Love Tonight. Eyes the Brother have a song called I Need Your Body. I just throw an Eyes the Brother playlist on. And then you know what I do? And then I slide her some Sade in the mix of that. So after she get through here between the sheets and lay and I Need Your Body and Let's Make Love Tonight. And then I throw her some Sade, Your Love is King. Now I take her and put her in a sexual mood. And now mentally, I stimulate her to think about the man who made her feel that way. Now she's feeling the song. Man, just apply these things, man. Figure your woman out, know your woman, and you could do these things. Now, the reason you only have sex with her when she's absolutely aroused, because the more aroused the woman is, the more open she is to whatever. You understand me? The more open she is to whatever. Now, I'm not telling you you're going to be doing no wild and a whole bunch of just nonsensical stuff. I'm telling you the more open she is to whatever. So that means everything she's doing, the intimacy of it, the sensuality of it is multiplied by 5, by 10 sometimes. That's the difference between just getting dome and getting some woo dome. You understand me? That's the difference between, just riding like a motorcycle and riding like a cowgirl on a bucking bronco. You understand? That's the difference between those things. You got to understand, when a woman is at her horniest, she finds pleasure in pleasing you as much as she finds pleasure in being pleased. The goal of all of this, brothers, is to make your woman get pleased by pleasing you. And all this leads to that. She's always in a good mood. She's always in an intimate mood. She's always in a sensual mood. She's always smiling and giggling. She's always falling weak to your touch. She always wants to get with you. And so once you're intimate with her, you can control the dynamic like a ringleader, because she just wants to be with you. She not thinking about, oh, you need to please me. I want you to please me. She just want to get with you. She just want to be intimate with you. And at that point, it's easier to slide her into the mindset where her pleasure comes from pleasing you. Because although all these things I'm telling you to do, she's pleased every day. Let me tell you something. Sex is for our pleasure. It's for our pleasure. She gets pleasure from pleasing you. All this other stuff I'm telling you to do, that's her pleasure. Don't you understand? The only time a woman can reciprocate anything to you, any of these things I'm telling you to do, the only way she can reciprocate to you is the actual act of intimacy. That's it. She can't do anything else. Physical intimacy is the only way she can reciprocate these things to you. And so you use that time. But we'll get further down the list, because you may say, well, man, I get what you're saying, but, you ain't really told me any more that you need to tell me, man, to get there. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Just relax. Hold your horses. I just want you to know where we're going with this. I've been talking for a long time, and you still don't know where we're going. But now you know. Now, let me tell you this. If you wait until she's absolutely aroused, it's impossible for her to focus on anything else. You want her mind to go blank so she can just feel the art of giving and receiving pleasure. That's it. All the words you know that motivate her, all the words you know that make her feel good, you talk to her that way. Sometimes you can talk real nasty to your woman, but maybe you got a woman that don't want to be talked nasty to like that. Don't try to force her to be something she's not. Understand your woman and talk to her in that way. Your goal is to motivate her to keep giving and receiving pleasure. That's why you got to clear her mind. If she's stressed out and she worried about things and all of that, and y'all been arguing and fussing and fighting, and you always on her back about something, sweating about something, and you're hurting her feelings all the time because you don't know that the woman is weak emotionally, and you gotta pacify that sometime. If you don't know all of that, none of this is gonna work. But you want her mind to go blank during intimacy, bruh. You don't want her to think about nothing. The only thing she should be focusing on is feeling what she feels. And if you can blank her mind out, everything about it is going to give her pleasure. Everything about it is going to give her pleasure. And let me tell you something. Believe me, internally, every woman is more of a giver than she is a receiver. Women are nurturers. Women are givers. Women are lovers. Women are healers. And so if you can blank her mind out, she automatically goes to her natural state of giving, her natural state of nurturing. When you're being intimate with a woman, she gonna want to nurture you intimately. You know what that means? That means that she's gonna give her best effort with everything she's doing. Everything. Now, like I said, this don't work with the freak hoe. If she been out there and she done freaked everybody off already, yeah, you can still, have fun with her, but not to this level. Because she's aroused out, she's pleased out, she's pleasured out, she's freaked out. You understand me? So when you do these things, that blank mind, and she focuses on that art of giving and receiving pleasure, bruh, that's almost a fantasy world for you. Because most men don't get that from their woman. Most men don't know how to arouse that type of energy in a woman where she just want to get it in. Where she want to give you everything that she has. She want to give you her best because y'all leading the wrong way. You meet a woman, she don't like you. You cold approach her, you got to increase her interest. You got to make her like you. So eventually she likes you, but the thing is, you got so much, the foundation of the relationship is her not liking you. You're not going to be able to do these things. You understand? Let me get these super chats, man, and then we'll get back into it. Got some super chats in here, man. Let's see. Appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. Tevin Custis, appreciate the Fit Bone sponsorship of the show, man. Hey, Doc BOA, I'm a young dude in the game, and I'm constantly learning. I was curious of your opinion on my question. What was it about Michael Jackson and the few in his bracket that had women and even men fainting at his shows? Man, when it came to Mike Jack, he was a superstar. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a superstar. He was unreal. He was so huge that it was unreal. You know what I mean? When you think about somebody that's promoted to be so big and you look at the numbers, when you hear that somebody sold 40 million records and they're all over the place, it was just the right combination of sounds, vision, and boyish appeal. He just blew up. He was huge. He was bigger than life. You can get so big that you're like an alien. People see you and they just can't believe they saw you. You know what I mean? Bruh, I ain't telling you dudes be fainting, but when I meet people right now, man, they be like amazed that they just met me, like at the grocery store. I be at Whole Foods, they be like, Doc. I be like, what up, man? Be like, man, boy, man, let me tell you, boy, man, got a dog, Doc. I mean, I ain't blah, blah. And people get excited about it. But when it come to Mike was a bigger than life. He was a bigger than life entity. He was larger than life. Just the way he moved, he was larger than life. All that security he moved with, he was larger than life. He was just larger than life. He was larger than life, and that's what cost him his life, but we ain't gonna get into that. So sometimes, man, just like that. You catch lightning in a bottle sometimes. You notice there were very few people have moved an audience like Michael Jackson does. Matter of fact, there's nobody else in his bracket. He was in a bracket by himself. You ain't gonna find too much footage of somebody who was in a place that holds 70,000 people, is sold out, and people falling out, having to get carried out. He was in a different lane, man. You know what I mean? So I just think that's what it was. Like, he just got so big that it was unreal. It was like he was just a TV personality. He was somebody you never expected to see. And I guess when people got the chance to see him, they just couldn't handle it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You listen to something like old music, a lot of that was chant music too, man. You know, when you listen a lot of that, man, was just, it was chant music. It was sped up chant music. No. Boom, 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 boom. A lot of it was, man. A lot of it was hypnotic music, man. And so you get people into the hypnotic music, man. A lot of time, man, they worship. It goes into worship. They worship them like a deity, man. To some people, Michael Jackson was like God, bro. It's crazy. Hope that answered the question, man. Black Suit, appreciate the dime. Paying my dues, crypto cashing me out harder than suckers in the female DMs. Salute. And yeah, man, that crypto, it doing their thing right now, man. It got a little bit more of a bull run too, man. It gonna do its thing. Nemesis, appreciate the 10 bones. Finally caught alive. I've been watching the content, enjoying the channel. You out curing the beta male manginitis one stream at a time. We all appreciate you. Salute, Doc BOA. Yeah, bro, that's what it is. The beta male manginitis is out there. All right, melanin and muscle, indigenous, aboriginal. Salute, man. Appreciate you joining the family, bro. Appreciate it. Famo, salute, man. Good to see you in the joint, man. I know you be making it when you can. Trey Hustles, appreciate the dub, man. Salute. All right, let's get back into the thing, man. Let's get back into it. And that's just my take on the Mike Jack thing, man. All right, so you got to motivate your woman to seek giving pleasure more than receiving it. You know what I'm saying? By being a verbally coercive instructor. You know what I mean? You got to be a verbally coercive instructor. And when you instruct her to do something, you got to be prepared for her to do it right then. Like, you got to be the type, you got to make her understand it's okay for her to be as freaky as she want to be. She could be as open as she want to be. She can be as free sexual as she want to be. She could do whatever she want to do. She can request to do anything she want to do. She requests you do anything her she want to do. There ain't no guarantee you're going to do everything, but you got to open it up, to open the floor up to her where she could just open up and let her hair down and be who she wants to be. Because the thing about that is, if you don't do it, somebody else will. If she feel like she got to be bottled up sexually with you, it's easier for somebody else to unbottle her. So you got to unbottle her completely. You got to just let her be open. Everything got to be on the table. You know what I'm saying? And once you're involved with a woman, bro, don't tell a woman. For example, I never tell my woman that I want some dome. I never tell her that I want some dome. She might just be sitting on the sofa. She might be reading a book. And she look around and my wood just right there in her face. It's just right there. And you know what she does every time? She knows what to do with it. And you know what? She prefers it like that. She prefers everything to be spontaneous. That's what you got to do. If you're in a situation where you and your woman have to plan when y'all going to be intimate, and y'all, well, if she ever tell you, well, not right now, maybe tonight. I'm done with a woman who tell me that. If a woman ever tell me, not right now, later tonight, maybe later, I'm done, because I ain't going to want it later. You can't put me on no time schedule. Now, all of the things I'm telling you to do, keep your woman from ever saying that. She ready whenever you ready. You understand me? She ready whenever you ready. So that's why I can just whoop my wood out like that and she just go to it. I ain't got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if we on a road trip and I'm driving, I just whoop my wood out. She already know what time it is. You understand me? Because this is my woman. She feel comfortable doing that because she know that she's earned a position of more than just being a little plaything for me. You understand me? She knows that. So that's just how it goes, bruh. And here's the thing. All women are like that. But you just got to make sure you don't wife up no freak hoe, because freak hoe just like that. You got to make sure that your woman is your freak hoe. You understand? My woman, my freak hoe. I turned her into that. I opened her up to be that. You understand? I trained her to be that. She ain't live her whole life like that. That's just what she been doing with everything. She already did everything with everybody. I wouldn't have her around me. You understand me? I wouldn't have her around me. So I motivate her. You understand? I let her know, listen, I let her know what she's doing a phenomenal job. You know what I'm saying? I know my woman. I can talk a little sideways to my woman when it comes to intimacy. I can talk a little sideways to her. Now, I don't just I don't smut her out. You know what I'm saying? She ain't built like that. I don't want her to be built like that. That ain't what I want to turn her into. But, I talk to her the way I talk to her, and it works for me. And you just got to know your woman and talk to her the way that it works for her. And I'm telling you, brothers, if you just do these things, your woman will view being with you as a fantasy world. She'll view it as a fantasy world. And so let's say she's out having dinner with her girls. She out having dinner with her girls. They want to go do something after that. She ain't doing nothing after that. You know why she ain't doing nothing after that? Because you didn't just text her something. You know what I'm saying? Way, way back when she left the house. You understand? And she left out of there so hot and bothered, she really didn't want to go. She was trying to stay at home. You could have got her to stay if you wanted to. But you need her to go out and get that freedom and go out and be with her girls. You need her to have that girl time so she can get all the girl talk out of her mind, because you got to be masculine to pull this off. If your woman start viewing you as like one of her girlfriends where she could just sit and gossip with you or something like that, you lose this power. This is only when your woman views you as a masculine man. And you got to toe that line. You got to stand your ground. She can't gossip with you about no mess. You know what I'm saying? You ain't finna watch no crazy Lifetime movies with her or nothing like that. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't finna do nothing. You ain't finna be out shopping with her all day, nothing like that. Certain things you just ain't finna do. You know what you ain't gonna do? Nothing you don't want to do. That's all this is. If you want to shop with your bro, go shop with her. But if you don't want to, don't do it. I'm just telling you that she needs to be looking at you like the masculine force in her life, and the femininity in her will always make her submit. Now, I'll say this to you, and somebody may say, "Well, how do you continually be a verbally coercive instructor?" You got to challenge her. I challenge her. Well, I did. I don't have to challenge her no more, but I challenged my woman in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I was like, so, shit, I don't want you to choke out in that. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? You think you can handle this? You think you can do this? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you think like not like the first time, but as she got acclimated, I was like, you know what? I was thinking, you talk a lot, which means, your throat probably deep. So, I mean, you think you can deep throat it? She's like, yeah, I think I can. I was like, don't be saying you can do some shit you can't do now. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to be in here, you got to be taking cough drops off for the rest of the week, gargling salt water and all that. She was like, man, please, I got this. I was like, you got it? All right, go ahead. Go ahead, you got it. And then when she go for it, I'm gonna kind of force the issue a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna dog her out, but I'm gonna help her out. I'm gonna help her out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna help her out, and whether she can do it or not, it's irrelevant, because now she's dead set. If she can do it, we good. If she can't, we got something for her to try. We got something for her to try, and then I can play little games with her. At that point, I was like, hey, look, all right, keep on. You know what I'm saying? I got something to make you shut up now. I got something to make you be quiet. She's like, what? I be like, all right, She talking noise, she in the kitchen. She talking about what? She turn around, my wood is out. Why? Because I can do that. I already established that I could do that. And so now here she is. Now she's used to me helping her learn this technique. Whatever you want your woman to do, teach her to do it. But be patient and teach her to do it. Be a good instructor now. If I teach you the lesson, I want you to learn the lesson. I expect you to make progress every time. But I'm a good instructor. I'm a patient instructor. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just one example that I can think of from my life. Now, you may not want any of these things, but what you do want, you just make sure that you instruct her. You got to be patient. You got to be forcefully patient. You ain't playing by what you're saying, but you got to be patient. You got to give her time to learn, time to make mistakes, time to hiccup, time to throw up, maybe, depending on what you're trying to get her to do. You know what I mean? So here's what I want you to do. If she doesn't get pleasure from pleasing you, she's bleeding you of your energy. You have the type of relationship that ain't gonna work like this. And you have to ask yourself if that's the type of relationship you want. There's some guys who have to please their woman. They literally have to do everything in their power to please the woman. Literally. And I'm gonna be honest with you. My woman won't quit. Guy be talking about, man, I just retain. It's like, man, my woman she ain't gonna let me do that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna force her to do that. I don't want the disappointment that sets in for her. When she can't please me, then a disappointment set in. And then I gotta deal with that fucking disappointment. I'd rather just, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. You do what you gotta do. You know, I want you to feel accomplished. If your woman don't feel accomplished by pleasing you, brothers, then you got the wrong situation. This don't apply to you. Because I'm telling you, if you try to do those things, these guys talking about, man, and your woman really values pleasing you, it's gonna put her in a disappointed state. She's gonna feel like a failure. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't need whatever comes from that, whatever benefit you get from making your woman feel like a failure. I don't want that benefit. I don't need it. You know, the way I structure my control, the way I control, the way I console, that's not what I need. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to bring her out of the funk that comes from being disappointed. Because after she's disappointed, then she's going to feel like, man, you're going to drop her. And she's going to feel like blah, blah, blah. I don't need to use that as a weapon. I don't need to use the threat of dropping a woman as a weapon. You understand? That's why I did all the ice shit in the beginning that I needed to do. Putting her in the ice, putting on ice in the beginning, falling back in the. And whenever I need to do that in the beginning, that's what showed her that I ain't want to be played with. So I don't want to put her in that state of mind on purpose. That don't make sense. You know, guys be talking about, man, you got to have, abundance mindset. The woman got to know you will leave and up. Man, bro, we ain't dating. We talking about a man who got a woman that's in his life. That's what we talking about. Bro, I don't have to play those games. I don't have to make a woman feel like I'll leave her. She know I will. She already knows I will. So that's not a game I had to play at this point. Now, hold on, man. Let me get a swig of water right quick. SJ3 just said a mouthful then. Them the ones. But you know what? You want to find them with it hidden in them. You don't want to find it where it's already at the surface. And you can tell if it's already at the surface, man, the first time you with a woman, bro, you could tell. Because there's a certain woman who can't control herself. If she want to do it, she going to do it. She don't have there's no, I don't want you to think about me a certain way. There's none of that. You know what I'm saying? There's none of that. Wherever you at, she'll get it in the first time. So another thing I want to tell y'all is this, man. Remember this. Sex is not a game to play with your woman. All this other stuff I'm telling you, these are the games you play. The foreplay games, the intimacy games, the hide and bother games. It's not a game. It's a tool of correction and reward. It's a tool of correction and reward. Not a game to play when you're bored or a way to let a woman control you. It's not that. The strongest tool you have in your toolbox that's a quick remedy tool, it's like what's those knife they call, man? They got all them different tools on. Somebody tell me what that knife is. They got all different tools on it. Not a survival knife. Somebody tell me in the chat, man, what's that knife with all the tools? Got a screwdriver on it, got a little can opener on it, got a little blade on it, got a corkscrew on it. I know y'all know what they are. Somebody put it in there for me. But Swiss Army knife. There you go. Desmond Robb. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. Swiss Army knife. Fearless woman got it too. Swiss Army knife. She's like a Swiss Army knife, man. You know, it's like a Swiss Army knife where you just whip it out. Like whenever you need it, it's there. However you need it, it's there. If it's a tool of punishment, you need it. If it's a tool of correction, you need it. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever it is. And you just whip it out and use it. But you gotta use it as a powerful tool like that. You can't play about it. You can't let her think it's a way for her to control you. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why in the beginning you use the hide and bother technique. Now I know I told you about the hide and bother technique is this. When you first meet a woman, you automatically make up your mind that the first time y'all spend time together, you're not gonna smash. But all these things, the touchy-feely thing and all of that, all of this is already going on. If you see me out with a woman, this our first time spending time together, you're gonna think we've been together for a long time. Because I'm gonna be touchy-feely. She gonna be with it. She gonna be touchy-feely. We're gonna be in there like a newlywed couple. You understand me? Like literally, first night together, we're gonna be like a newlywed couple. Man, y'all got here the first night together. She's sitting on one side of the table, you sitting on the other side. Y'all looking at each other. You might get a kiss, good night, and all that, bruh. By the time me and a woman hang out for the first time, we beyond that point. We at the point right now where she hoping that if she do it, I don't view her a different way. But she trying her best not to do it. But I'm gonna leave her hot and bothered, super hot and bothered. And from that very moment on, you got to think about this. Not very many men leave a woman hot and bothered. Most men, if she wants you, you can't control your libido enough. You got to hit her the first time. Other men, you don't even arouse her enough to even get to that point. But rarely has a woman been left hot and bothered by a man who was just as aroused as her. I'm not saying you ain't aroused. I'm saying she can feel the wood poking on her, but you are not going to cross that line. Now, later on, you can tell her why. You can make up something to make her feel better about herself or whatever, because she's going to feel two things. She's going to be hot and bothered. She's going to wonder, what were you thinking? What was going on in your head? Why didn't you smash? And she also gonna be thinking if something wrong with her. So you get to make her feel aroused. She feel attractive. She feel wanted, desired because you were bricked up. She doubts herself a little bit because you didn't smash. And she's intrigued by you because nobody's ever done this before. What else do you need? Somebody may say, man, well, she gonna call somebody else. Bro, you just met the woman. She probably gonna call somebody else anyway. That don't matter. You don't care. You cannot control who a woman calls, who a woman deals with until you establish a relationship situation with her. Up until that point, you can't be concerned about it. If you haven't established anything with her to make her be dedicated to make her be committed to make her focus on, then none of that other stuff matters. You can't even be worried about that. But let's get back to this. So remember, it's a tool of correction. That's all. It's a tool of correction. That's what you use it for. All right? Now, here's what you got to understand. Remember I said earlier, you don't talk sex, you do sex. But so you don't let every conversation turn sexual, you let it turn sensual. You understand me? You let it turn sensual. That way you eliminate the all men think about is sex. And you say, what's the difference between sensuality and sexuality? I don't give a woman direct compliments, but I will talk about her skin. I will talk about her skin. And whatever color her skin is, I'm always going to compare it to food. So when I compare her skin to food, she think about me eating her in some kind of way. See how that turns sensual? It's a sensual conversation. Whatever food. If she caramel color, I compare it to maybe a caramel macchiato or something. I compare it to, caramel drizzle, on some ice cream. Whatever I want to compare it to. If she chocolate, I compare it to whatever chocolate I like. Whether it's a chocolate cupcake, German chocolate cake, if it's a chocolate bar, if it's dark chocolate, I don't know what it is, but you compare it to food. You know what I'm saying? If she yellow, you compare it to whatever you want. If she red, you always compare it to something. Always compare her body to her skin tone, her body shape. Always compare. If she got them hams, hey man, listen, there you go. You know what I'm saying? If she got them thighs, there you go. You know what I'm saying? If she got them boobies, there you go. You just always compare it to food. And that's the main thing. You can always think of a food to compare it to. If you can't, then, bro, this ain't for you. Also, when you make everything sexual and not sensual, you sound desperate. Anytime you talk to a woman that you just met or that you haven't known that long, and you keep taking the conversation to sex, you never do. You just don't take it to sex. Sensuality is connecting a woman's body to something that can easily be taken with multiple meanings. You know what I'm saying? It can be taken with multiple meanings. Back in the old day, older guys used to do this. My granddad and them, they used to talk things like, girl, I'm gonna be honest with you. You look, man, I want to sop you up with a biscuit over here, girl. But you just talking about food. But you're talking about food in if you said that and eliminated the food, it could be very offensive to a woman. You literally said and told the woman you want to put on a plate and eat her. But you said, girl, make me sop you up with a plate, sop you up with a biscuit over here. You know what I'm saying? Put my favorite syrup on you. She laughing about it. Now that's real old school, but that type of thing my granddad and them used to say. But it I listen, that stuff used to blow my grandma's socks off, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you. It used to blow her socks off. Man, you just got to remember that, man. And here's another thing, man. Making everything sensual is distinguished and desirable. When you make a woman think about things, she don't even understand why she feeling the way she feeling. She don't even understand why she wondering what it would be like for you to eat her up. And all you did was say her skin remind you of food. Now she's sitting there thinking about that. It creates a fantasy for her. That's the beginning of the hot and bothered. You understand? That these are just small examples, bro. I won't get this deep into it on this particular platform because I can't talk the way I want to talk. You understand me? But boy, let me tell you something, man. If I'm telling you these things work, man, because they do. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you got to think about this, man. You can control this dynamic with your woman, but not but you can control this dynamic with any woman. With any woman, you can control this dynamic, brothers. And I ain't lying to you. I don't care what nobody else say. You control this dynamic with any woman. You know, not just one woman, any woman. You can control this dynamic. And I want y'all to understand that. I ain't making this up. I'm telling y'all what's real. You can control this dynamic simply because you can. Now, let me tell you, and here's another thing. A beautiful woman knows she's beautiful, but doesn't always feel desirable, sexy, and sensual. That's why you use those opportunities, like the opportunity I told you earlier. Baby, how I look in this? I'm going to make her feel how she look in it. I'm going to make her feel how she look in it. By the time I get through touching her and caressing her and rubbing that dress on her body, or rubbing that skirt on her body, or rubbing that sweat on her body, or rubbing them panties and bra on her body, or rubbing that nightgown on her body, or whatever it is. It could be PJs. Whatever it is. By the time I get through rubbing them on her body, she going to know how she look in it. And she going to want me to take it off of her. These are real simple things, brothers, and I want y'all to understand that. Remember that a beautiful woman knows she's beautiful. I don't give beautiful women compliments about their beauty. I don't. If I'm not finna tell my woman how beautiful she is. I talk about her lips. I talk about her eyes. Hell, I talk about her tongue. Talk about her teeth. Talk about her toes. I talk about her knees. You understand me? I talk about her thighs. You know what I'm saying? I talk about that booty. I talk about everything, but I'm not just finna say, you know what, you're so beautiful. Come on, man. She already know that. You know how many times she'd heard that in her life? Come on, bro. That don't make no sense. I ain't got time to be wasting on that type of stuff. So remember that. That's why you make these conversations sensual, not sexual. You know how many men have always tried to make things sexual in her life. If she's an attractive woman, that's just her MO. And I'm not desperate. I ain't hard up for no loving. I ain't hard up for it. I'm not even gonna make her think I am. And that's what happens when you start talking about sex, and trying to, sexual innuendo in the conversation. Man, that ain't gonna go right. It don't go right. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing: you gotta understand. The reason you do this and you want her to get pleasure from pleasing you, because that's the only thing she can give you to show her appreciation for your masculine energy. There's nothing else. She could cook for you, but she gonna cook for you anyway. She can clean, but hell, she gotta live there too. She gonna clean regardless. There's nothing she can give you that she wasn't already giving herself except that sexual submission. And the only true feminine submission is sexual submission. There's no other way that a woman can submit to you. Truly submit, except laying down, letting you have her as you will. That's the only way. All this other stuff, when lions take over a pride, why they get rid of them cubs that's there? Because with them cubs, as long as the female producing milk for those cubs, she is not going to go back into estrus. She's not going to go back into heat so he can start creating his own legacy. She's not going to do it so they get rid of the cubs so they can get right to it. Why? Because that's the submission that matters. That's why when you look at elephants, only the bull elephant, only the bull male get to mate. And he will destroy another male trying to mate. When you look at the male hippo, the bull male hippo, he the only one that get to mate. All them females, that's his harem. And he will destroy somebody for trying to go behind his back. You know what I'm saying? And sleep with one of them. And eventually somebody is willing to come and risk their life to knock him off so they can have the harem. And then they go right back to it. As men, you got to remember that that's the primary form of submission that your woman can give you. And she needs to be giving you that. And if she don't understand that, then you got the wrong kind of woman. And many men have the wrong kind of woman. Many men are married to the wrong kind of woman. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely married to the wrong kind of woman. And you just got to remember that. You got to keep that in mind. Yeah, grizzly bears too. SJ, grizzly bear fight to the death to see who, man, they just go for it. You know what I'm saying? They go for it. And that big male, man, he going to be like, hey, look, bro, I'm going to tell you like this. If it be ugly around here, man, I'll destroy you by that girl right here. I'll destroy you by that thing, man. So I just want y'all to understand these things, man. And here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. You got to remember this. your goal is not to make love to your woman. Your goal is to break her back. Your goal is to savage pack. All that lovey-doveyness and making love and doing all that, man. Hey, listen, all that can be done if that's what you want to do. All that can be done if that's what you want to do. But in reality, you ain't gonna be able to do these things talking about making love to it. Man, let me tell you something. Women make love in their dreams, they get fucked in their fantasies. You understand me? They make love in their dreams, they get fucked in their fantasies. You understand? 50 Shades of Grey is every woman's deepest desire, but it's just suggested for her own personal freaky level. Why you think all these women shout out to see 50 Shades of Grey? But let me tell you something. If you got a wife and she went to see 50 Shades of Grey without you, you got to understand, she didn't want to see it with you. She wanted to go see what the fantasy world is like because her fantasies are not fulfilled by you. You too concerned about pleasing the broad. You understand? You too concerned about it. You too concerned about giving her things she hadn't earned. You too concerned about making everything about her. You too concerned with giving her the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountains. But 50 Shades of Grey is every woman's deepest desire. It's just suggested for every woman's own personal freaky level. That's it. That's all it is. And I want y'all to understand that. That's really all it is. So these are the ways, man, that you get into a situation, man, and you make sure that your woman understands that this is her gift to you. Pleasing you is her gift to you. And you got to be the version of yourself that you're supposed to be to be able to pull this off. This ain't for, listen, bro, this is not for the man who is not the best version of himself. This is not for the man who doesn't have the type of confidence that happens when you're the best version of yourself. So some things I do something like this. I might surprise my woman with some sexy apparel that I want her to model for me. You know what I'm saying? Man, those sexy clothes, Panties and Brian t-shirts and all those sexy nightgowns and all that, man, that stuff cheap. It's cheap as hell. But here's what happens. Here's why I surprise her with the sex apparel I want her to model for me. I get to control I get to control what I see. I'm controlling what I see her in. So whatever I want to see her in is what I see her in. But at the same time, I'm training her on what I like. So that helps me train her to be what I like, to do what I like, to show what I like, to know what I like. All of this boils down to a woman having an interest in what pleases you and doing those things. How is she going to know it if you don't show it? You know what I'm saying? You got to put these things in her head. So you control what you see while training her on what you like. And if she doesn't care what you like, none of this shit applies to you anyway. You understand me? None of it applies to you. So listen, brothers, I ain't going to hold y'all in here too long, man. I just want to come in here and throw this one up, man. I had to come in here and throw this one up. Trey Hustles, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the dime. Thanks for all the lessons, even the hard one. It's a blessing to have found BOA Academy. I've been learning a lot and lost over 50 pounds and became more spiritual. Hey, brother, that's the path we need to be on right there. Those are the accomplishments that we're going for. Becoming more spiritual, being in the best shape of our lives, and having the most peace we've ever attained in our lives, and protecting all of those things. So listen, brothers, if you're not subscribed to my King Ray Ray channel, it's now called the King Ray Ray Morning Show. I'm on every morning, 9 to 9:15 a.m., Monday through Friday. Y'all be there. We've been having some great shows this week. We had a great show yesterday. We had a great show today. Y'all be looking for it, man. We're going to have another great show tomorrow. King Ray Ray Show. Y'all look it up. It's on YouTube now. Y'all join that channel. It's a phenomenal channel. You need to be there. Great way to wake up in the morning and start your day off. So listen, man, I appreciate y'all being in the building, man. All the brothers who donated, man. Tevin Custis, I appreciate you sponsoring the show, brother. Appreciate it. Everybody else who donated, man, listen, I appreciate y'all, man. Harlem World Breaker, my brother. SJ3, salute. Famo, salute, man. I appreciate all y'all, man. Listen, y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing, man. And we're going to slide on out of here. But listen, remember, make them people do what you want them people to do, because that's what they need to do. Peace.
girls in my life. Both of them are like my wife. It's really not what you'd assume. They're both equal in my heart and my bedroom. Many men say they wanna live this way. They really don't know what they're saying. Cause this is not an easy life. It's hard enough treating one woman like your wife. First I had to get them both keyed in, till they were thinking like twins. I understand my women, so I make them both feel like they my best friend. You'll always be my cover girl.